I don't ever remember him being afraid, you know. Just, it seemed like he just had this lack of fear.
Was that what about like growing up? Did like he ever give you a hard time when you missed it?
No, he was very respectful.
Yeah.
You know, one time I remember coming in and to his room. It was when he was in high school, and he had a black eye. And I said, "Well, Jake, what happened?" He said, "Well, I got in a fight." He says, "There's these two scumbags from from Mineral Point. You know, they had this meeting in Darlington where his buddies were there, and these two guys were trying to start a fight." And Jake says, "I'll take care of this." And he says, "Let's go out in the field." These guys were 22, and he beat them both up. I mean,
yeah, there was no challenge that he wasn't afraid of.
So why did he want to join the military?
He was the guy that, just wanted to try it, to see it. Huh? It was this, yeah, my dad was in the Army, and he was, he kind of looked up to my dad, and it's just, my dad was in World War II, and he worked at Los Alamos when they were making the nuclear bomb, and he'd drive Oppenheimer around or bring him aspirin. So, he knew Oppenheimer, just as an assistant, not, he was in any important role. But, I don't know, just, kids, that's the way they are. They just want to join the Army, It's just an adventure, and he was always a protective type of an individual. He was, he'd always protect the weaker guy. And always knew he always wanted to join the military, but I never thought he would because he had asthma. And so I thought, well, they'll exempt him. It'll be. And when he said, "I'm joining the Army," it was like, well, you're not going to stop him. You just, otherwise, it's another experience. He always enjoyed doing. I figured, well, he'll do this, and then he'll do something else, and he was very active in a lot of stuff. He was in a firefighting team. I mean, they'd go out and kick in doors, and they got shot at every day. I mean, they were this spearheaded the 1st Infantry Division, 234 A Company, 1st Platoon, and they were in the thick of it.
So do you do you open this box up often?
Oh no, this is the first time probably in a couple, unless, some of his buddies come and they want to see things.
He usually doesn't open it unless someone comes.
No. It's, it's like, it's part of the healing process. It's like being an alcoholic. It's always with you. You just have to learn how to control it. The door.
Oh,
There's two officers come to the door, and the minute you see them, I knew. And the only hope I had was, well, maybe he just got hurt. And they read this. They just read it. They don't say, "How could we come in?" They just start reading this. And he was killed in a insurgent fire, and and you just have a mental breakdown. Then I mean, you just, I thought he was going to make it, and he didn't. I said, well, he's so well trained, but he was out on point that day. He was, the way I read it, he was out on point, and they were coming back through this village, and they started taking fire, and they had an embedded Afghani soldier, and he misfired his RPG and they went down, and he was left standing because he was out front, and they got him. That was, but It's, it's trying to understand, I say, oh God, how could you let this happen, that's the way I was for the first couple of years. Oh, God let me down. I've always prayed, and well, we live in a world of people, where we have free will. I can't blame God for that. He's here for us, but He's going to let us tear ourselves apart if we want. It's just, if you want to live like He tells us to live, we're going to live in peace. But if we're going to do it our way, we're going to end up, hating one another. You don't hate the homosexuals or the Muslims. I don't hate the Muslims, or you love all people. It's love is what reigns. That's you just every day think about Him, and you just try to think of the good, not the bad, not the vengeance. I think of the person that killed him. I mean, he was under the same orders. He was under the same orders my son was, and I forgive him. And if we'd have forgiven those that attacked us on 9/11, I mean, just think how would the Muslim population have thought? Well, these people, they're not condemning us; they're forgiving us. That's what Christianity is all about: is forgiveness, not condemnation.